We are live. Hello, girls. How are you? It's another Friday. It's Anita here from Sequins and Sand. That's what that says. That's me. I hope you're doing well. It's come around so quickly again. These Fridays certainly do. And I'm so glad you've joined me today for what will be one of the most special Friday lives we do here at Sequins and Sand. If you're catching the recording, thank you so much for tuning in when you get a moment, because I know not Friday at 12 o'clock is not going to be right for everybody. So thank you for tuning in. Today's live is a little bit different. I have a very special guest on today. You know, when you sometimes meet someone for the first time and there's an instant click, you just get each other and it's a wonderful connection. It feels really good. Well, my guest today was that person for me when I first met her. It was an instant click and an instant, I'm at ease. I'm totally where I need to be to get the help I'm looking for. This is Rachel's story. This is an interview with one of the most knowledgeable, caring, passionate people about what she does. Her craft, she is a footwear fitter. And I use that term very, very deliberately. Rachel knows so much about shoes. She's been in the game for a very long time, and I'm proud to call her friend. She helped me when I was in so much pain. Plantar fasciitis crippled me for about 9 months. It was really horrible. But as soon as I walked through the door and sat down, I knew I was in the right place and in very good hands. And I think it's really important that when you meet people like that, that you tell others about what they do, because they are rare gems. When I was putting the Mother's Day competition together for this year, it's a very special competition for us here at Sequins and Sand. It's not one of your run-of-the-mill, tick a box, enter, run away, kind of, hashtag, tag, away you go kind of competitions. We want you to stop and think about what mums mean to you or that special woman in your life. And when I was putting the list of people together who feel as passionately about serving the women that I do, Rachel was on that list. So she is also a partner in our Mother's Day competition this year. And there's still time to enter. Entries close this Saturday at 12 o'clock Brizzy time. And she's giving away a $200 voucher to spend in her store, either in Brisbane, here in Paddington, or online. So wherever you are, you can reap the benefits of her goodness. Speaking of which, I'm going to hit go, share my screen, and let you hear our wonderful interview that we did together last night. Rachel kindly shut the doors to her shop at 5 o'clock and we recorded this because it's a bit tricky for her to stop in the middle of the day. She's at the shop 6 days a week. So we did it last night, an hour and a half of her time, so generously given. I know you will love it. And at the end, put any questions you have in the feed, any comments that you've got, and Rachel and I will go back after this live and answer them for you. So here we go. Let me share my screen, hit play. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this very special live recording. I've got to tell you, we're doing this in Rachel, and I know you're going to love today. We are talking about footwear, and more importantly, how to find the right shoes for your feet, your problem feet, so that you can stay mobile and pain-free. Because we all know movement is medicine, right, girls? So it's really important to stay mobile. And this woman on that side, the lovely Rachel of Adavira Footwear here in Brisbane, is your girl. I've got to say, what she doesn't know about footwear for problem feet is just not worth knowing at all. She's incredible. So I am thrilled to introduce you to the lovely Rachel. How are you, Rach?
Oh, hello. I'm really good. That was lovely. Yeah, I'm really good. And I'm thrilled to be here. This is a new thing for me, but it's really exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit scary, but you know what? You know your stuff, and you're always up for a chat, and it's going to be like getting on a bike and riding down the
I am
street.
definitely always up for a chat. So yes, I'll get you in my chat soon. Yes.
Oh, good. So tonight, we are going to talk about how to find those right shoes for your feet, and that's how I first found Rachel. So Rachel helped me when I had debilitating plantar fasciitis in both feet for like 9 months. I was in so much pain. And the flip side and the positiveness in all of that is not only did I get to meet Rachel, but I also learned so much about my feet and what I need to do to look after them. So we got talking. We've become quite pally now. And I always think that Rachel is to footwear what I am to cosmetics. We are both fitters. Isn't that right, Rach? And that's what you love about what you do, isn't it? Tell us a bit about your fitting skills and some of the problem feet that you encounter every day.
Oh, crikey. I guess I should probably start first by just saying, I'm not a podiatrist. I'm not kind of a medical professional, but what I am is a woman that loves shoes. I'm a woman that's always been very active. I've always worked on my feet in my whole career. I love fashion, and I love being able to participate and being able to move. And so I've always had to have shoes that are really comfortable, shoes that I can be really mobile in, and shoes that still look amazing and still look fashionable. So I guess, through my career, I've always kind of gravitated to shoes, and I've ended up with a shoe store. I've ended up doing that thing that I love, and doing kind of putting together and I guess collating and kind of curating a collection of shoes that I think, cater to a lot of different things and cater to a lot of different types of feet and different types of events.
Yeah, there's so much similarity between what you do and I do. We have the same philosophy, right? We want women to look great,
Yes.
but we understand that we're built for comfort, not speed, and it's important. And it's important to look good, but make sure that it's fit for purpose and that it's comfortable and it's going to do the job.
You absolutely nailed it in terms of like, it is, what is it that you want to be able to do? Like what is the purpose? What's the event? And yes, certain things can look amazing, but you may not be able to move a lot around in them. So so whether it be for work or for a holiday or for a special event, you're really having to think about things like, what kind of surfaces are you on, or how much are you standing, how much are you moving, and that really has to inform the kind of decisions that you make about whether it be the swimwear or whether it be the footwear that you wear, because you may end up sitting out or missing out otherwise.
Oh, the whole missing out, you're absolutely right. So many women miss out because they have a fear of getting into a swimsuit and how they look in a swimsuit. And they think there's not one out there for them, and so they recoil back and they don't participate, and that's really, really sad. And that's why we do what we do. And it sounds like you're on the same page.
Yeah, for sure. I love the water and I love being out and being in the world. And so if you can just have something that makes you feel comfortable, that makes you feel like you've got freedom of movement, you are so much more able to participate and to not miss out and to be there for those special moments. Yeah, for sure.
So good. I love that. That is so good. So you talked about curating your range, and maybe we'll get to that shortly.
Yeah.
I would really love to know, though, in terms of the kinds of feet, can we just look at the anatomy, like the feet? And I know they're on the end of people's legs and they're part of a person. But what kind of problems? What kind of problems do you encounter? What do people walk in and say?
I see a lot of the same things over and over again. So, for example, I met you with plantar fasciitis. That is something that I see all of the time. I guess as humans, like we're incredibly busy, we're incredibly active, but we're also moving around on really hard surfaces. So, the beautiful polished cements that you see that look amazing, but are just so brutal on the body. Or perhaps you're working on your feet, whether it be as a medical professional or you're working in hospitality or what have you, but you're on your feet, you're on hard surfaces, and I've completely lost my train of thought.
That brings a lot of pain and a lot of, discomfort when you're on those surfaces.
Yes. So when you're on these really, really hard surfaces, this is the point where you cut it and we take this bit out, right?
No, we're still rolling. It's okay.
All right, try again, Rach.
We're going back to the problems. What happens? Walk in with what kind of problems? I love this. This is beautiful.
I'm going to get there. We're going to get this. So I met you when you were facing plantar fasciitis. It's a really, really common thing that I see all of the time. The main thing with plantar fasciitis is that we tend to wear a lot of shoes that either don't support the heel or don't support the arch. And what can happen is that we might be wearing our fashion shoes, our heels, and we think that we're going to give our feet a break by wearing something flat to recover. The challenge with that flat shoe is that it might have a very hard sole, or it might not cradle the heel, or it might not support the arch. So the heel moves around. All of that fascia under the arch and where it connects with the heel just gets so stretched and angry and inflamed, and we just end up in a terrible state. It's very, very painful. Anyone that's had it, you know how bad it is. So one of the most important things to do for plantar fasciitis is to support the heel, is to support the arch. Sometimes it might be about putting a little bit of heel elevation there. So maybe, that 1.5 to 3.5 centimeters can be really helpful. It can be about making sure that arch is supported, but it can also be about making sure that there's a really nice even distribution of weight across the foot. Yeah. So it might be about making sure that the forefoot's also protected and padded. With everyone, it's slightly different in terms of how much structure you need under your foot and how much support you need. But there's a lot of things you can do for plantar fasciitis that aren't just, orthotics or, staying at home and not moving and being in pain. I guess I don't know if you want me to necessarily mention this now, but something that goes hand in hand with the footwear is also that there's other things that you can do, whether that be a tennis ball can be your best friend. And I don't know if you want me to talk about some of the stretches and what you can do as well, but certainly when I meet women that have got plantar fasciitis, 10 times out of 10, they have really tight calf muscles. And that may be that they're working on their feet again, that they're doing a lot of walking, or it might be that they're very static and doing a lot of standing. So perhaps they are a chef that's in a kitchen working in a very kind of confined space for an extreme amount of time, or they might be someone that's working in surgery where they're fairly static but on a very, very hard surface. And
other than plantar fasciitis, what are some other conditions that you see walking?
I see quite a lot of different things. And so some other really common things that I will see is bursitis. I'll see ladies with neuromas. I tend to meet a lot of people that perhaps are diabetic or have got some kind of autoimmune situation going on that may cause a lot of swelling or inflammation. There's just so many different things that we're all facing, and sometimes we've got a couple of things at the same time. Sometimes I'm seeing someone that perhaps is going to have surgery. Perhaps they're getting a hip replacement, or they might be getting something done with their knees, or perhaps they're getting treatment of a bunion. So bunions are another thing that I see a lot of, or one of my customers once referred to her bunions as bunyips, and for now I think of them as bunyips because that makes them sound like they might be painful. You might not like to look at them, but bunyips is quite cute. But so sometimes it's about helping someone to find the right shoe to say support them pre-surgery or support them post-surgery.
There is so
Yeah.
much that you help. That's such a diverse
Yeah.
range of issues that people present with, and I never thought about that
And different
post-surgery
ages
aspect
too,
as
like things
well.
happen to people quite young, things happen to people older, things happen in between. And there's yeah. Um, a lot of the kind of things that I see though seem to have a common theme, and that is that a lot of women's shoes are too narrow in the forefoot. They're too narrow and shallow in the toe box. So often we are working in or moving in shoes that are squeezing, if you can imagine, squeezing our metatarsal, squeezing our toes, perhaps making the toes come in on each other, and then perhaps putting us at a difficult angle as well. And so then you imagine you're on a hard impacting surface, and a lot of complications can happen. A lot of inevitably the wear and tear, something's got to give. So often people think things like plantar fasciitis or different things are because, I'm getting old, or it's that thing because I'm lazy, or it's that thing. And I will always say, no, these are injuries you get because you're very busy, because you're very active, because you're a hard worker. So it's kind of also, reframing in your mind that it's not necessarily something that you've done wrong or something you should have done. It's just having more information and being able to make other decisions about the kinds of ways that you can support your lifestyle and support your body, so that you can keep doing the things that you need to do and the things you enjoy doing. Yeah.
That is such an important point you raise, and I feel the same way about swimwear, because a lot of women come to me and say, I don't want a good pair because I'm losing weight. So when I hit a certain weight, that's when I'm going to buy these other pair. And I say, well, no, please feel good now. Work with what you've got and feel good now. And I guess that's what you're saying with shoes is maybe what you've worn in the past is not going to work anymore, but that doesn't mean you have to sacrifice style. Yes, you might have to change styles, but work with what you've got now to feel
what will
good.
make you feel good? What can we find you a middle ground or a compromise? Or it doesn't all have to change overnight, and you can just make little changes. So for example, I work with a beautiful woman named Laura, and Laura coined the phrase chocolate shoes. And so and that is that potentially we shouldn't have chocolate every day, but we can have it sometimes. So if you wear supportive shoes, if you wear shoes that take care of you, then you can still have those chocolate shoes too. You can still have those sometimes shoes for those particular events. So if you, for example, if you love stilettos, if you think they are so sexy, pick your event. When you're going to the theatre and you're sitting down, when you're going to dinner and you're sitting down, when you're at an event where it's seated and you can just look $1 million and feel amazing, but not the wedding where you're going to be standing for 4 hours, or where you're going to be on grass, or you're going to be on an uneven surface. But so it's not never. It's just it's the fit for purpose. So that beautiful, sexy swimsuit that you might wear when you're doing a lot of lounging will be very different to the swimsuit that you pick when you're chasing your kids across the beach. But you can have both, and you can use both. Yeah.
Fit for purpose. You're absolutely right. So tell me, if we were to look at a shoe, and these are some of the shoes I've bought recently because I love these to death, where as soon as I put them on, I just went, yeah, that's it. Tell me, what should we consider when we're looking at a shoe? Because not all shoes are created equally, are they?
This is so true. So I'll let you in on a little bit of Rachel's brain and what I think about when I'm looking at a shoe, because obviously I go and I pick a lot of shoes. So the first thing you'll see me do when I pick up a shoe is I tip it over. And the first thing I'm doing is I'm actually looking at the sole. And the reason that I'm looking at the sole is, firstly, which way does my camera go? That way. What I want to look at is I want to look at the width at the forefoot. I want to see, is that going to fit the shape of my foot? Like maybe I'm aware that I've got a really narrow forefoot, or maybe I'm a little bit wider, and I just want to make sure that looks fairly true to where my foot's at. Another thing that I'm looking at is I'm looking at the toe shape. Mm-hmm. So some of us, for example, myself, my second toe is as long as my big toe. for some people, their second toe is longer than their big toe.
So what does that do to the toe then? To the
So
shoe?
what can happen a lot for people where their second toe is longer than their big toe, or as long as their big toe? Say that they've worn a lot of shoes that are very straight cut, or, you know, that kind of more rounded toe. Essentially what's happening is they're either sizing up to get the length for the second toe, and then they're getting that movement and slip in the heel, which is friction, which is blisters, which is not a comfy experience, or they're going smaller to get the fit in the heel, and their second toe is getting rammed against the end of the shoe. And so that's when you're starting to see a lot of discomfort, because the second toe is getting a lot of pressure on it. You're starting to see problems with toenails. You're starting to see problems with, perhaps you might start to get a bend in that second toe. You might start to get the beginnings of hammer toe, things like that. It's just it's not a comfortable experience. So for example, if you are like me and you know that your second toe is as long, or perhaps even your third toe as well, then you're looking for something that has more of a pointed toe. So it's I'm not talking about party hat really pointed, but just that something that when you look at that sole, you're seeing that there's a bit of extra length there for that second toe. Some ladies that I encounter as well will also have, say, their fourth toe might be extra long as well, or their third, fourth. Something that's really interesting is people that do a lot of yoga, for example. So people that are incredibly mobile and active are forever learning to spread their toes and to not squeeze their toes, and to really activate the toes and use the muscles in the foot. So their toes might be really spread and long. And so that's where something like this can become really important too, to look at and go, is it wide enough across the toes? The shoe that you chose is so brilliant because it works for someone with my kind of toe shape, but it also works for someone where, for example, they might have a slightly squarer foot, because it's got such a lovely deep toe box. And so that's the other thing, is thinking about how deep is it through the toe? How deep are you through the toe? So a lot of the time we're not only squeezing the foot, we're compressing the foot as well. And so that's causing a lot of trouble as well. So if you can get something that's deep enough for you, it protects the toenails, it protects the joints. And then we're kind of probably also touching on another thing that's really dear to my heart, which is, once again, looking at the bottom of the shoe. I haven't even started on the top yet, but we can talk a lot about the top.
I love this.
But the other thing is that what you're generally going to find when you look at my shoes is you're going to find rubber soles. You're going to find rubber. You're going to find maybe combinations of latex or polyurethane. And the reason for that being is kind of touching on this depth and touching on the importance of protecting, is when you have a really hard-soled shoe and you hear that click, clack, click, clack as you're walking down the street, what I hear is impact and I hear shock. And I'm hearing that shock and that jarring that's happening on your joints and happening. So as you're striking, your whole body weight is kind of being concentrated on that spot that's hitting hard. So when you have something like a beautiful rubber polyurethane, it's like a shock absorber, and it takes away that impact. Good, that's a beautiful shoe. That takes away that jarring sensation. But also, say, for example, that you are someone that has a slightly finer foot, having that rubber underneath you can also protect your foot. So something that's really quite rude that happens to us as we age, and something I'm really starting to see in my feet, is we start to lose the fatty deposits under our forefeet. And so we actually start to thin and the bones get closer to the ground, which is another reason why it's just so important to have something under you to protect you, and so that you're not putting all of that pressure there. And then you start to also be able to look at footwear that, for example, comes with lots of different kinds of componentry, so that you can, for example, I'm really fine in the forefoot and narrow in the heel. So these kinds of things are my best friend, because I will actually sit these in under the inner soles in the shoes so that they lift me up and pad my forefoot in the heel so that I don't slip. So something that I love too about the shoe that Anita's chosen is it's also got a really good arch support. So if you kind of couple a lot of the things that I'm talking about, so you're talking about having that, that beautiful rubber polyurethane under the foot, you're talking about the shock absorbing, you're talking about the heel protection, you're talking about the arch support to stabilize the arch. But then the other beauty of that shoe is you've got laces and a zip. So something to bear in mind when you're picking a shoe as well is ideally you want the shoe to hold on to you. You don't want to have to feel like you're holding on to the shoe. You're holding on to the shoe, you're doing all the work. Let the shoe do the work. So because you're working hard enough anyway. So if the shoe is holding on to you, you're not clawing, you're not working hard. So that beautiful shoe, if Anita wants to wear like a thin stocking with a dress, she can lace it up firmer and get a nice neat fit. If she's going to Tassie in the middle of winter, she might want to put a big thick wool sock on, loosen the laces out. When we get flying again and you're doing long haul flights, you undo the zips, you open up the laces, you let the foot breathe. But but then you bring it back in and you've got that kind of adjustment. And it also then touches on that your feet change. So something, if you're living in Queensland, that you'll notice a lot as well is humidity will really affect our feet. Where you're at in your cycle will really affect your feet. So you might find at times that you're very swollen and then you can adjust it out. Or at other times you bring it back in again. So having somewhere to go with your shoes is really important as well. So
I feel like we could talk for about 5 days about shoes. There is so much to learn. But I love, you're absolutely right. Let the shoe do the work. So if you know that, your feet, your bones are getting closer to the ground as you walk, and I'm feeling that. I hear you. Then to let the shoe get the padding. Yeah.
So just let it protect you, let it cradle you, let it hold on to you. Don't let your toes do their natural gait. Don't have them trying to feel like because if you're tensing, you're also tensing your calf muscles. You're feeling it in your quads, or it's going all the way up. And so often, so many of our feet problems can go all the way up to our hips. They can be in our glutes. It can be our hip flexors. It can be our knees. It can be so many things because we just we don't feel stable. We don't feel like we've got something secure under us.
So when you choose your range, Rachel, do you look at, so for instance, when I choose the swimwear that I want to sell, I think of different body shapes, like a C cup, a D cup, an E cup, an F cup, different belly shapes, different hip shapes. Do you do a similar thing? So you've talked about some features that you look for, but do you think, this shoe would be good for these kinds of feet? Do you do that as well, or am I on the wrong
way? No, you're so onto it. And that's what you're saying about swimwear is so true as someone that really appreciates you thinking about the other end of the cups. It's funny because I've been here now. We opened in 2008, so I have been lucky enough to meet a lot of just amazing women. But I have there'll be certain women that. So when I'm looking at shoes, I'll go, that's a Wendy shoe, or that's a Laura shoe, or that's a Naomi shoe. And what I mean by that is I'll go, that person's a lecturer, that person's on their feet all day, that person has a very square foot and a slightly low arch, or you know what I mean? Like I'm thinking about, because there's certain types of feet that you just meet again and again and again and again. And so I'm thinking about toe shapes, I'm thinking about arches, I'm thinking about width, I'm thinking about heel lifts. For example, my mother-in-law is someone that does a huge amount of yoga and a lot of bushwalking. She is phenomenal. Like, she is just an inspiration. She is someone that really needs a broader toe shape because she does like to just let her toes do what they're supposed to do. But the other thing about her is she really likes the idea of a shoe that isn't really, really built up in the heel. So this is what I think of as a fairly neutral shoe. So as in your full foot and your heel are fairly flat. I think that having maybe even a 1 centimetre lift in the heel can take some of the pressure off the lower back and the hips. Everybody has different ideas, but when you have a shoe like this that is nice and neutral, this is like one of my dream shoes because it actually caters to so many different people. So kind of thinking back to your question about the different types of shoes for different people, when you can find a shoe that is right for so many different people. So what I love about this shoe is that it's lovely and generous across the forefoot. It has the capacity to be deep for those that need it, but a lot of my shoes also have removable inner soles, so we can also fill them for those that don't need all the depth.
Or if they wear an orthotic, can
Or
the
they wear
orthotic go in?
orthotics. So a lot of the shoes, so a lot of the shoes are just really well constructed shoes that you can wear instead of an orthotic. A lot of the shoes take orthotics because for some of us, we're there and we need to wear an orthotic. So then you can also find things like stretchy or shoelaces, so that can cater to different types of feet. Some people just need something very relaxed and loose and unstructured, and that's when they feel they're most comfortable. Other people want to feel very laced in. So I'm certainly thinking about with different brands. You're thinking about, for example, this is the brand that I would go to if I needed something incredibly structured with a very, substantial heel counter, something with a very strong arch, or, for example, something that's going to have the capacity and the durability to take a very serious orthotic. Or this is something that might take someone might just need a little arch support or a little heel insert. So you might go, okay, this is a shoe that can take a smaller thing. Or for some of my ladies, they have orthotics that they put in their sport shoes, but if they wear these shoes, they don't need their orthotic in them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I must admit that was me.
Yeah. So
I ditched my orthotics.
Yeah. I always kind of come back to you won't like every shoe in the shop, but hopefully there's something for everyone. And what I really love is I have 3 generations. So I tend to meet mum, and I'll meet daughter, and I'll meet grandma, or I might meet auntie, but quite often people are attracted to the same shoes and wear them in different ways, or there'll be something for mum and there'll be something for daughter, so I don't think that fashion also has to put you into an age group. So I will sell this to a 18-year-old and I will sell this to an 88-year-old, and they'll both look amazing.
But you're right, they'll wear it differently with different things.
They'll wear it differently, and you'll just style it so that it's your style. I guess probably the other thing that really I think about a lot, and I know you do as well, is that you want to pick things. I don't like fast fashion. I don't like something that's made to fall apart in a couple of months. And something I know about your swimwear is people have it for years, and that it's beautifully made, and there's been a lot of thought and mindfulness put into it. And so what I love so much with these shoes as well is that people will actually rouse on me and go, my shoes won't wear out and I want to buy another pair. Like, I need something to wear out. Like, or this is the problem, this never wears it. But at the same time, you want something that's really soft, you want something that's really comfortable. But I also want you to get, like, I guess one way to think about it is cents per wear. I want you to get it down into the negative cents per wear as you wear it. So a good investment, but something that stays with you for a while. Or perhaps like one of the, actually quite a few of the brands I carry as well have got replacement inner soles. So for example, you might wear a shoe really hard for a bit of time and then replace an inner sole and keep going with the same shoe. Or there are things that can be repaired. So you might get a new Velcro put on something and then you get an extra 2 years out of it, or you might get something resoled. So I like that idea of quality. I like the idea of if something is flimsy or is made to fall apart, it's
landfill, I call that.
Landfill you nailed it. It's landfill, and that breaks my heart. And we just don't need to do that. We can make other choices, and even when I was a poor uni student, I just would have a lot less and just make different decisions, because I wanted to walk everywhere. I wanted to be able to be, And I knew that if I didn't have those shoes, I couldn't walk the kind of kilometres I wanted to be able to walk.
So you've got shoes from all up, because I know I've got Spanish shoes and Portuguese shoes and shoes from different places around the world. But do you stock shoes, you hunt them down and you go, yep, I know you don't hunt them down You don't buy Italian because they're Italian. You
No,
get them because you know they're going to do the job.
So I guess I've been like, I am that rare creature that one of her first paychecks as a grown up went out and bought a pair of nails. And for the ladies that know nails, you'll know what I'm talking about. Not too many, early 20s go out and buy a nail with their first paycheck, but I just loved these red sandals and I'll remember them forever. And they were so beautiful and the arch was amazing and they were so comfy and I could frock them up, but I could walk to work in them and I loved that. So I was living in the inner city and I could walk to town and walk home and I didn't have to change my shoes. But I digress. So I guess a lot of the brands I haven't even really told you about this, but when I was a customer of this shop, so I've always been a shoe nerd. And I was in a job where I worked on my feet and I found this amazing shoe shop that carried a lot of the things and brands that I loved. And so I started to come and I ended up being offered a job by the owner. I then managed the shop for them for 4 years. I then purchased the shop. So I guess I kind of have to mention that because I guess in through that time where I was a customer, I was becoming very familiar with the brands. But then also I was so spoiled by the previous owners in that they would take me to shoe fairs, that they would allow me to meet with the reps and to see all of these different brands and see all the different samples and learn about the different constructions. And then, and so there are that obviously I wish I could say I'm going to Germany and I'm going to Italy and I'm going to France. It's not
Honey, we ain't going anywhere.
But yeah, so I became familiar with a lot of the brands that way. And then also I'm just forever researching. I'm forever looking. I'm looking at people's feet, even around me. If I see something I like, I'll ask the person. It kind of becomes like cars though. You start to just really recognize shoes. Like I can tell a lot of brands just by looking at them. And there are just certain signature things about certain types of shoes that they just do so well that you'll go, I'm bringing that brand in for these specific shoes for this function, for this reason.
And I love that. I love that you have the diverse range rather than it just being one brand, trying to do lots of things. You've specifically thought about that and you've got many.
Yeah, so I might only have
great.
Yeah, I might only have a couple of things from each brand.
Yeah.
So
how many years have you? Sorry, I'll shut up, Rachel. You go.
Oh God, no! You blah, 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 blah. I've probably got about 25 brands, and sometimes I might only have like 1 or 2 shoes from a particular brand where I've just gone, that shoe is amazing, and this is why that shoe's amazing. I want to have that. Whereas, for example, something like a Birkenstock, when I'm in peak Birkenstock season, I might have 70 to 80 different kinds of Birkenstock because they're amazing. And yes, you do need 60, 70 different colours and styles. And so it's quite a collection when I look at it.
It's great. So what sizes do you sell across all of those brands? What do you generally size for?
So the average, whatever that is, but the average Australian shoe size is a size 40. So my most popular sizes are 39 to 40, 38 to 40, but I tend to carry most of my brands from 37 to 42. When it comes to my Birkenstock, I go down to 35. I go right up to about 47 because so many of the styles are unisex. So it just seems rude not to carry them into the much longer sizes. And then I even have some shoes where I will sometimes go into that 36. But I think as a rule of thumb, 37 to 42 is a fair spread across most of the brands. Right. And for those that go, what does the European sizings mean? From about a size 6 through to about a size 11.
Great. Okay, perfect. And so you've got them in the shop there, but you also now have, in the last, 6 to 12 months have set up an online store?
Yes, I have. I finally, because we're just a very little bricks and mortar, we're just a little independent. It is literally me and my partner, and I have one amazing offsider, Laura. And so last year, when we were suddenly at home, we had been knowing that we needed to do it behind the scenes, but we released a website. One thing I love about a website is I just love that there's a catalogue. I'm someone that really enjoys, before I go to go shopping, because I love bricks and mortar. I love going into a shop. I love talking to people and touching things and experiencing things. But often I will look at their website first, and I will go. I get a feel for, what do I like? What are the styles? What are the colours? What are the materials? So I love that I can now have something there where you can look at and you can go, these are the types of shoes, these are the types of colours, these are the, the sizes, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's the first time. We opened in 2008. This is the first time, though, that we've actually had an e-commerce side of it too, where we will actually deliver all over Australia, which is
well, I've just put the link up there at the bottom of the screen, and I'm just going to share now your website. So there's the homepage, Adavera Footwear. Yay! We love that. So now, hopefully that will stay there. I'll just scroll to show everyone that you've got so much to offer. There you are, outside your store in Paddo. Love that, with your trading hours for the girls who are in Brisbane. But if you're not in Brisbane, and I know a lot of the girls who are looking at this recording will go, well, I'm not in Brisbane, so how the hell are you going to help me when I'm not in Brisbane? What do you say to them, Ray?
I guess one thing I'll say is you're always welcome to visit Brisbane, because once I've met your foot once, I'm very good at helping you once you've gone home. But having said that, obviously, I've got ladies that I've never met before, that they've just found out about me through a work colleague or a friend or what have you. And I guess the thing that I want to stress is that I have social media, so you're very, very welcome to contact me through Facebook, through Instagram. You're welcome to call the store. You're welcome to email me. I will regularly spend time with people talking about different shoes, different brands, how they fit. And so it comes back to what we were talking about earlier in the shape of your foot. So I generally can work out, for example, if you're this size in a Birkenstock, you're going to be this size in this brand, or you're going to be this, or if this shoe works really well for you, then this is another one that I think is going to work very, probably really similar to you with your swimwear as well, where you go, oh, the bust in that's perfect. So I think you're going to also really like how this one, So you're very welcome to ask me as many questions as you like. I will also endeavour to more and more put descriptions on the websites that help you as well, to put checklists. There's all sorts of things still in development, but and ideas, and I'm forever being inspired by other small business owners. So it's coming, but I guess the other thing probably to mention as well is that while not being totally confident with social media, I post really frequently. So while I might not have all the bells and whistles yet in terms of the website, I do post at least twice a day on Instagram and on Facebook as well. That's another really good way to get ideas about the shoes, because I am quite a tall lady. I am a plus size lady. And I will not only wear all the different shoes, but I'll also show you a lot of full body shots as well, in terms of, so you get ideas about how to style things. You'll see me wearing things with a lot of different kinds of dresses and clothing and cuts. I also have a beautiful colleague, Laura, who is very petite and a lot shorter than me. And she also styles a lot of the different shoes. And so and our beautiful customers also share a lot of photos with us as well. So the social media is another great way to see how the different shoes look on different bodies and different shaped feet. And also we will kind of describe a lot of the features of the shoes there as well. So the other thing, and then the other thing is that I do, I'm thinking of all these things I do, is that I'm super happy to send you photos. So things that are separate to the website and the socials is I will regularly send send photos. I even FaceTime some of my country Victorian customers. I'm just thinking about now, where I'll get my mobile. I'll actually walk around the shop with them and really open up a shoe and talk through the shoe.
That is beautiful. So on the website here, this is just on the home page. There is down the bottom here, our store. So there is where girls can email you. They can even send in a photo of their feet, I'm sure, and just explain what they're looking for. And then there's your phone number if they want to give you a call, as well as you say, through social media. That's the other way to get hold of you.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
And, so
well,
it's
Rachel, it's not what?
I was going to say, it's not some kind of random team of people or anything. Like, if you email, it's going to be me that's answering. If you call, it's either going to be Laura or I answering the phone. And I guess probably the other really important thing to say too is that if for some reason it's not right, like we are a physical bricks and mortar store. We're in Paddington, in Brisbane, on Given Terrace, and a lot of my Brisbane ladies, I might post things to them, but it's just not right. And we exchange things all the time. We can keep going till we get it right. Or we have a returns policy on the website you can have a look at as well. We think it's really generous. And so there's options.
That's great. And you do refunds too if that's
we
what
do.
it ultimately gets to.
Sure.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So basically, you are the customer service queen. You know, girls, you are in great hands with Rachel. She, as you can gather, we've been speaking now for probably about 40 minutes, but she knows her shoes. She knows her feet. She knows how to get the right shoe for you. And she is so passionate about helping. I can honestly say there is nobody like her. She's really, really fantastic.
I do love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah.
And that comes across. You are an absolute gem. So, the details are there, girls. Go and see Rachel. There is something else that we have been working on in more recent times. Yeah. We have been working on our Mother's Day giveaway. So this is another way that we've teamed up together, realising that we serve similar customers who are looking for the same thing in terms of, comfortable and things that will do the job. For me, it might be in the pool and the beach, and for you, it's on the street and at work. So we have teamed up for our Mother's Day giveaway. And so Rachel has very generously donated a $200 voucher for you to spend on anything in store. She will send you, our lucky winner will be notified, and she will then be in contact and give you the voucher code so you can shop away, and she'll help you do that, answer any questions that you've got about what should you.
Don't worry, I can still absolutely help you. It will not be a problem.
Yeah, wherever you are, she will help you out. So I'm really excited, and thank you for coming on board with that, Rach. There'll be some very lucky feet and a lucky woman out there who will have your shoes on.
Pamper pack, a really lovely experience for someone special. Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. So I'll just quickly share where we can. Let me go here, share. And we're going to go up here. We're going to go here. Is that showing up? Let me go. Share screen. Here we go. Sorry, this is taking a little bit longer. There we go. Okay. So is that coming up now? Yes, it is. There we go. So, on the Sequins and Sand website, sequinsandsand.com.au, there is this green button, enter our Mum's Day comp. Now, it closes on Saturday at midday, this Saturday, because Mother's Day is Sunday. But if you hit there, it takes you to where you can enter. And there we go. $200 voucher for Adavira Footwear. How to enter. There are how you can find our beautiful partners on social, on Facebook and Insta, and that's where you enter. There is, we want to know a little bit about Mum and why you would like to win this for her, how she's been inspirational, but there are the details there. So thank you again, and Rachel, for being part of that with us too. Really, really appreciate it.
It's exciting. I'm looking forward meeting whoever wins. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. I reckon that's a wrap. If the girls have got any questions, I'm going to put this in the feed for Facebook and we'll whack it on social. So wherever they see it pop up, they can ask questions, I'm sure.
Sure.
And that, of course, they can ring you anytime through adavirafootwear.com.au and ask away.
Brilliant.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Rachel. Have a great night. Must be dinner time now, huh?
It so is. And yeah, thanks so much. This was exciting. Yeah, great.
Thanks very much. See you. Bye. Bye, girls. Bye. How good was that? And how awesome is Rachel? So much goodness in there. Go back and rewatch it and pick up all those hot tips. I've tried to add some in the feed as we went along. So much to learn about your feet and what to look for in shoes, just like we show here frequently every Friday with what to look for in a swimsuit. Turn it inside out and have a look with your shoes. Turn them upside down and have a look at the sole as well as the inside and how they lace up. Or zip up, however they do up. Don't forget the Mother's Day competition is closing this Saturday at 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Head to sequenceandsand.com.au and hit the green button to enter. One lucky winner will receive $850 thereabouts of goodies from us and our partners together, combined total. Rachel from Adavira is donating $200 voucher as part of that overall prize. An awesome, awesome prize. And you know you're in good hands when you ring Rachel, get some advice or pop in store to retrieve your prize. So I'll leave it there. Have a great weekend. Thanks so much for tuning in. And here's to your perfect perfect shoes for your feet, because we know being mobile matters, especially as we get older girls. Movement is medicine, and it's important that we have pain-free feet, but we look good with comfort and style. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Friday, if not sooner, right here on Facebook. See ya.